Welcome. Today we're joined by Jeremy Tobias, the CEO of Community Action Partnership of Kern, also the board chair for the Community Action Partnership Association, the California Community Action Partnership Association. So welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, David. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. First of all, just kind of want to hear more about, you've been in community action for a little while now. Just tell us a little bit about how you got into community action, how you got to this point.
Yeah, I've been in community action for 13 years now at Community Action Partnership of Kern. And to me, it's all about community service. I had actually started my career in city government, municipal government. And I got into the municipal government work originally out of college to make a difference in my community. I thought community service was important, and being able to shape policies and in the community I lived and helping the community thrive was really important to me. So I started off my career in city government, and it was kind of a natural evolution for me to transition into community action where I could really make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about those connections. Community Action Partnership of Kern is so influential in the community. I mean, it's a large community action agency and does quite a bit there. So talk a little bit about those overlaps you see between city services and opportunities and economic development and then the community action agency itself.
Yeah. As you mentioned, Community Action Partnership of Kern, we're a rather large community action agency. We operate 19 distinct programs in Bakersfield and Kern County, and we have over 900 employees out in our community doing that work, making a difference in the community. And I think making a difference in people's lives, and really what we're about is allowing people to reach their version of the American dream. So everyone has their own version of the American dream. It might be, hey, I want to own an auto body shop one day, or I want to be own a fast food restaurant. Whatever it is, everyone has their own version of the American dream, and we want to break down barriers and help them get there, whatever that is. And and when I worked in the municipal government, it was kind of the same thing. We were there representing the people, trying to make the city government work for people. And I see community action kind of the same way. We're trying to make that system work for the people and break down barriers so that they can live their version of the American dream and thrive and become productive citizens and set the stage for a better life for their children and other family members that they have. And I think that's a really important part of democracy in living in the United States, is making sure your community is better off, that you're leaving your community better off, and you're helping everyone reach their dreams and thriving in your community, becoming participants in the community and helping people.
Yeah, so it sounds like, whether it's local governments, whether it's, other nonprofits, whether it's the community action agency, all the same mission in mind, where you're trying to develop the community, trying to give families the opportunities to be successful and those type of things. Right. Well, one of the things we know, at CalCAPA and across this country is that all community action agencies are unique. They're locally driven, and they make decisions based on the local needs. So tell me a little bit about Cap Kern and some of the type of things that you guys focus in on, your priorities, those areas, different programs that you have.
Sure, yeah. Cap Kern, like all community action agencies, we have a local board, and our local board is very attuned to the needs of our residents in Bakersfield and Kern County. So we focus on areas that we think are important to our community and where there's specific needs. We focus a lot on our Head Start and Early Head Start programs because early childhood education is important in our community. We also focus heavily on our food bank. Kern County and Bakersfield has one of the highest food insecurity rates in the nation. And so we focus a lot of our energy on our food bank and making sure people have enough to eat. We also focus a lot on migrant farm workers. And they play an important role in Bakersfield, Kern County, and the Central Valley, and feeding our nation, really. And we spend a lot of time focusing on our Migrant Alternative Payment Program, the only program like it in the entire state of California, where migrant farm workers have child care provided for them seamlessly up and down the state as they migrate around. So those are a few of the important topics that our board has identified, hey, these are important to our community, and we focus a lot on those programs.
So you talked about Head Start, and as I've mentioned before, I'm a Head Start child. So thanks for your service, because it always creates great opportunity for my family. But whether you're talking about Head Start or you're talking about being entrusted with food delivery, one of the major things about community action agencies is they're a trusted source of information. Because you've been there, you've been in the community so long. Can you tell me just kind of how you develop that? What's a big part of y'all's process to make sure that the community says this is the agency we want to trust with these opportunities?
Yeah, we are a trusted agency in the community, like most community action agencies. We are a trusted agency in our community, and it has to do with real life services, boots on the ground. We meet constituents at their point of need, and we also take a very holistic approach. And we make sure our clients, when we're dealing with our clients, we're understanding what their needs are, not just for them as an individual client, but their entire families. So we try and take the holistic family approach that, hey, we want to help you and your family thrive. And that's one of the bedrocks of Head Start, as you know. Head Start's a very, very holistic, family-oriented program. And we've taken that theory and that practice and expanded it through all of our programs, where we really want to serve the individual, the family, their entire need, and again, move them out of despair and out of poverty and into a pathway for that American dream that they're envisioning.
So, and we're talking about food service. Now, you guys just recently expanded, or you're working on expansion. I mean, this thing is, from my understanding, is a huge undertaking.
Yes. So, our food bank right now, operates out of a 20,000 square foot warehouse. And we've outgrown that warehouse, and we've had to expand and lease offsite warehouses and whatnot. So we've worked really hard at developing funding across the spectrum from many, many funding sources. And so we're underway on a construction of a 40,000 square foot addition to our food bank, which is under construction and should be finished around September of this year, to add an additional 40,000 square feet, add several loading docks, and bring the offsite leases back into one building, and also give us some room for some additional growth as well, to help serve the needs of our residents through our food bank. And this is an example, our food bank is an example of, you can't do it by yourself. I mean, it takes an entire community. We are the hub of the food bank for Kern County, but the way we get the food out to everybody in our large county, very large county, we use 150 partner agencies that distribute that food throughout the community. Very few clients have to come to our warehouse. They really don't. We go out to the community, and the way we do that is we do some of it ourselves, but really we're using a network of 150 partner agencies out in the community to go out and distribute that food on our behalf. And in the local communities, at church sites and school sites and community halls and parking lots and whatever, wherever they can do it, they're handing out food, and that's really what community action is all about.
Yeah, and I had the opportunity to visit your agency, and you really guys do have such a diverse, spectrum of services that you offer. And what I really enjoyed is, a family can come in and whatever their needs may be, to give them those opportunities. You guys have such a flexibility there. So we kind of talked about where Cap Kern is now. Yeah. What do you see for the future? What do you envision you guys going to or attempting to get in certain areas or certain things that you're focused in on over the next few years?
Yeah, we've done some strategic planning with our board, and there's a couple of areas our board would like us to explore. We looked at, as a board and staff, we looked at, okay, how are we doing serving those in need and those in poverty, and how are we doing moving them out of poverty? And we felt there was maybe a couple of missing pieces to the puzzle that would help move people out of poverty. So what we've identified over the course of the next 3 years is to enter into a couple of new program areas and put more emphasis in those programs areas. And one would be housing, affordable housing, which we think is a hindrance. One of the hindrances to moving people out of poverty is affordable housing. And also job training and job development. Is how do we get people into solid, good-paying jobs, long-term jobs that pay well, that pay a living wage, so that they can move themselves into that version of the American dream. So we felt that those were two areas that we could add to our services. And so we're gradually entering into those two arenas with job development and affordable housing. Over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, I think you'll see Community Action Partnership of Kern entering those and developing programs in those two areas.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, just think again, 900 employees all throughout the Central Valley, and just being such an economic engine that you guys create. And like I said, the thousands of volunteers that are there creating that. Now, not only do you lead Cap Kern, you're also a leader for the state, and like I said, serve as the chair of the board for CalCAPA. You're involved nationally in all different types of. I know we were talking earlier, and how many boards you're on across the network.
Yeah.
What do you see for the vision overall of community action itself as either a network, statewide network, national network? Where do you see community action going, and where does it need to go?
Well, a lot of people get caught up in the debate of, the war on poverty and, did you lose? There's still people that are poor, and have you been successful? But if you look at the numbers, and there's two things I always look at is the number of people that moved out of poverty in the United States, which is tremendous. And it's not all because of community action, but we've certainly helped move that along. Mm-hmm. And then I think we've changed the definition of what it means to be in poverty as well. Is, a lot of our baseline services to people that are in poverty enable them to be at a level of poverty which is different than it was in the 60s. Sure. And so I think we've bumped up the baseline of what it means to be in poverty, and then we've moved millions of people out of poverty. So I think the mission is well underway, and I think we've done a great job as a network. But I think focusing on the fact that there's still those that have a vision of the American dream and feel like they can't get there, for whatever reason, and moving people towards that vision of the American dream. Everyone in the United States has an American dream. Sure. And if we can focus on moving people, removing barriers so that they can get to that vision, whatever that is, I think community action has good years ahead of it doing that.
Well, I want to say you guys lead the way. I know I've had the opportunity to work with some of your team around the performance management and the ability to be efficient and effective in those. Because as we always know, there's never enough dollars, and we can always use additional dollars. But being really, really effective, you guys do a great job of that, and looking at the data and looking at what are those barriers to people can reach their dreams. So, that's right. Well, thanks for your time. And again, joining us today was Jeremy Tobias, the CEO of Cap Kern, and also the board chair for the California Community Action Partnership Association. Thanks a lot, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
appreciate having me.
Yeah, absolutely.